Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Part 4 of the Doctor Who DVD Disambiguation. Today we'll be jumping into the debut of Patrick Troughton as the second Doctor with Season 4, which ran from 1966 to 1967. Now, we covered the first couple stories of Season 4 last time just because that's where the first Doctor's era ended. This time we're going to focus specifically on second Doctor stuff. I'm going to try to keep them divided by season, but occasionally there'll be a little bit of overlap because mainly I want to divide them by Doctor, obviously. But we'll try to keep it as organized as possible for you. Alrighty, so today, Patrick Troughton, the second Doctor's debut season on the Doctor Who DVD Disambiguation. Today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Okay, so, really quickly, here is every single DVD that you want to get absolutely everything that still exists from Season 4 of Doctor Who, which ran from 1966 to 1967. A lot of big, classic, important, pivotal stories in this season. Great stuff. So here is everything you need that is currently available. Yep, that's it. Everything that exists from Season 4 is on this one DVD set. Sadly, Season 4 is the single most devastated season from the junking and destroying of episodes back in the early 70s. There are no complete stories. All the stories are missing episodes or completely missing entirely. So let's go through all of them, shall we, and find out what does exist, what you can expect to find on the Patrick Troughton Lost in Time set here, and, you know, what's coming. There actually are a couple of DVD releases forthcoming. I think there's one from this particular season. Yeah, I've got a list over there. But yeah, there's one from this particular season that is getting a DVD release a little later, so we'll cover that in just a moment. Alrighty, so first off, we have story number 30, The Power of the Daleks, in which we meet the second Doctor for the first time, shortly after his regeneration, after a brief recovery period. It's off for what many consider to be one of the all-time great adventures featuring the Daleks. Very cool and scary stuff. So, what exists of Power of the Daleks? Sadly, not much. Only a handful of clips. A few 8mm off-screen clips, basically where someone literally took their black and white 8mm home movie camera and filmed the screen. So we got a few of those clips, which have since been matched up with the restored audio tracks. As I've mentioned on numerous occasions now, all of the audio exists for all of the episodes, because some fans back in the day would actually record the audio from the episodes through reel-to-reel tapes, and they've since turned those recordings over to the BBC, so now the BBC at least has complete audio tracks of all the missing episodes, even if they don't have the video. So, I mean, it's something. So all the missing episodes do exist in audio form, so we can at least enjoy them that way. So, as to Power of the Daleks, there isn't that much that still exists. I mean, obviously we have the complete audio, but in terms of actual visual clips, there's really just a handful. There's maybe about 5 minutes worth of footage total between all the different sources. But the good news is all of the existing clips are on here, so you can at least get a bit of what we're missing and see for yourself. Or, if you'd like to experience the full story, you can get this. Yes, there is the CD release, which contains, bridging narration, obviously, to cover the long gaps of silence in the soundtrack where there's not much going on in terms of dialogue and sound effects, just to explain what's happening. So that's pretty cool. Then we have story number 31, The Highlanders, in which we meet long-running companion Jamie McCrimmon. Yeah, he actually stayed with the second Doctor through his entire run. The only story that Jamie's not in is the first story of the second Doctor, and that's it. He's in all the other ones. So, pretty cool stuff. And again, sadly, all 4 episodes of The Highlanders are missing. So, what can you do? But we do have the complete audio track right there. So you can pick up the audio on CD and enjoy that. Next up, we have The Underwater Menace, story number 32. Now, the good news about The Underwater Menace is, actually kind of a funny story. Previously, the BBC held episode 3. It's a 4-part story. They held episode 3 of The Underwater Menace, and it held the record as being the earliest surviving complete Patrick Troughton episode. Back in 2011, they rediscovered episode 2. So episode 3 was dethroned by the episode that immediately precedes it. So now episode 2 of The Underwater Menace is the earliest surviving episode. Now, there hasn't been anything announced, but if they're going by the current trend of doing animated reconstructions of missing episodes from stories that are only missing 1 or 2 episodes, I think it stands to reason that at some point in time we will likely see a reconstructed version of this story, because it's a 4-part story. They've got 2 of them. I would be very surprised if they didn't do some kind of release for that. Probably next year, because I know they've already got a bunch of those planned for this year, and obviously they want to stretch out the releases a little bit. But yeah, so anyway, at the time that this was released, the Lost in Time collection, they only had episode 3. So you can see episode 3 on that set. Episode 2 has yet to be released in any official capacity, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll get to see that before too long. Next up, we have story number 33, The Moonbase. Now, being the earliest near-complete story, it is pretty well represented on the Lost in Time set. Now, The Moonbase has 2 episodes missing, specifically episodes 1 and 3. So on the Lost in Time set, you will find episodes 2 and 4. You will also find the complete audio track of episodes 1 and 3. So you can actually experience the Moonbase in complete form right now on the Lost in Time set. Or, if you don't mind waiting a little bit, they are actually doing animated reconstructions of the 2 missing episodes, and they will be released on DVD later this year. So there will actually be a full standalone DVD release of the Moonbase a little bit later this year, containing the 2 existing episodes with animated versions of the 2 missing episodes, and presumably tons of extras. So that'll be pretty cool. So we'll actually have something new for the Patrick Troughton collection that we can add to our shelves, and actually have a full, complete, represented story from his very first season, which is pretty cool. Because right now, as I say, this is it for DVD content of the Second Doctor's first season. I mean, it's crazy how little there is available. Next up, we have story number 34, The Macra Terror. All 4 episodes are missing. There's a handful of clips available, which again you can see on the Lost in Time set, but if you'd like to experience the story in full, complete form, well, audio form anyway, there you go. It is available on CD. Next up, we have story number 35, The Faceless Ones. Now, sadly, this particular 6-part story, only 2 episodes exist. So, hey, 2 is better than none, right? Anyway, you can experience the full story on CD here, and then you can see the 2 existing episodes on the Lost in Time set. Yeah, needless to say, there's a lot of orphaned episodes in the Second Doctor's first couple seasons. A lot of stray episodes, incomplete stories. So, I mean, the good part of that is we can at least see bits of these stories and get some sense of what they were like, even if we're not able to see them in complete form. So, you know, some is better than none, right? So, anyway, so we got 2 episodes of The Faceless Ones, which isn't too bad. At least we get a good sense of that one. Then finally, we have story number 36, the season finale, entitled The Evil of the Daleks, an epic 7-part story, which I think a lot of fans consider to be one of the all-time great Dalek stories. I think even better than Power of the Daleks. I mean, Power of the Daleks is pretty well regarded, but Evil of the Daleks is considered one of the all-time greats. So the first block of stories of the Second Doctor is actually kind of bookended by Dalek stories. It opens with a Dalek story, closes with a Dalek story. So The Evil of the Daleks is great stuff. Sadly, only 1 episode still exists, specifically episode 2. So sort of just as things are starting to heat up and get really exciting, and then it's over. It's been released in audio form a few times over the years. This is the most recent release on CD, and you can at least experience the story in audio form, and then once again experience the 1 remaining episode on the Lost in Time DVD set. So needless to say, as far as the Second Doctor's era goes, the Lost in Time set is an absolute treasure trove, because it's got so much early stuff that is otherwise completely unrepresented by the other DVDs in the collection. Alrighty, well, that is it for Season 4, sadly. 1 DVD and a whole bunch of CDs. Yeah, let's hope they find some more, although, you know, it's going on close to 50 years since that particular season aired. So I think if they were out there to be found, they probably would have been found by now. So sadly, I think a lot of these missing episodes are going to be missing forever. Yeah, the current total episode count, like missing episode count, is 106. So 106 episodes. Crazy. So season 4, I guess I should have mentioned this at the beginning, was a grand total of 43 individual half-hour episodes, but that does include William Hartnell's last 2 stories, which were the first 8 of those 43 episodes. So really, you're looking at, 39, 35. So 35 of those 43 episodes were the debut stories of the second Doctor. Alrighty, well, that is it for Part 4, Season 4. Next time, we'll take a look at Season 5, which ran from 1967 to 1968. We're getting close to the end of the 60s. Season 5, sadly, is almost as devastated as Season 4. A little less so. There's a little bit more material there, but, well, we'll take a look when we get there. Alrighty, we'll see you then. Until then, thanks for watching, and sayonara. Fuck. In which we meet the first a few like on screen, like the BBC at least contain the BBC at least fuck. Alrighty, so then next up we have story number 31, The Highlanders, in which we meet long-running companion Jamie McCrimmon. Then next up we have story number 31, The Highlanders, in which we meet long-running fuck, why can't I talk? So the season, the first block of stories of the first